Hey everybody, it's Gunny here from Orochinagi, and today we're going to talk about the time trial, and specifically why some things work and why they don't. And I'm going to explain to you what is the main thing that you need to do to enable yourself to shave off those very much needed seconds to enable yourself to get the double S award and get yourself those lovely rubies. Okay, so let's begin with a lot of mistakes that people use and explain what's happening. First of all, I want to talk about Bob, aka Nameless, but he's got a name now. Anyway, you need a character that's very strong, very fast, and moves that need to hit and knock out the opponent as quickly as possible. That's why other characters who do long, fancy animations are pointless. And of course, if you can punch an opponent and they get KO'd, then that's great. But as you can see, you do have some problems where the mobs, they start blocking or dodging or rolling or doing something stupid, and that will completely mess up your time. And this is normal. But Bob here, absolutely fantastic, and you'll see that if you look at the well, I'm having a brain fart. If you look at the rankings, you'll see everyone else is using Bob, if not Lady Zero, because of course her cat's extremely fast. And some characters, sometimes people have a sort of new different kind of setup, but generally speaking, Bob is the way to go. Now I do have him level up to 50 in this, but I think you could probably do it in probably maybe 3 stars. But like I said, you need to be able to knock them all out in one move. If they roll out the way or something, that's not your fault, right? But actually, yeah, I'm going to talk about now some other issues that happen when you're playing the game. Now, if you noticed something, right? Let me just go back to the beginning, right? So once you've got rid of this guy, you see that as the warning comes up, the timer is still ticking. It's terrible, right? But that's one of the things they've done to make this as annoying as possible. So this is why you really need to cut back on time. And we're going to get to that part in a second. But I'm just talking about the problems first. So the timer's still ticking while you're getting a warning, which is great. And the time's still ticking, and you're like, okay, well, what great, fantastic. And this also happens when you start Battle 2. Now, in that case, you can see what I've done there, but let me just do that again over here. I've done it there as well. Okay. As you can see, I've been trying this a bit. I've done a really good time, but frankly, if you want that time, you may have to do this a few times. There's no perfect strategy. I think there's just some random stuff that can happen, and it can mess up everything, right? But let me just see. This looks like a pretty good time, actually. Let's see what happens here. See, time's ticking, right? And it's saying Battle 2, and the people don't even turn up. It's terrible, but there's a way to get around that. But that's one of the things that I think you'll find. And a lot of people, they get up to, they're about to get under 40 seconds, and they're just waiting for these bosses to arrive, and they don't arrive, and you're just like, come on. And even if you get 40 and you're waiting for Gaunits to appear, Mecha Gaunits, the same thing will happen. 33, 34, 30, you're like, come on, man. 35, 36, 37, let me kill you. And I think it just might make this one. But even at this point, there's a chance that Mecha Gaunits could just go into his second form, transform into second form, or disappear and fly off to his regeneration chamber. This is basically luck. But most of the time he won't. Oh, I just made that. Okay. Right. Right. So other problems. So you've got that, right? But there's more problems. Hold on. Your other problem is the striker. Your choice of striker. Now, as you can see here, I've got myself a lovely striker. Absolutely powerful. But one of the things that you need to do in this game is be able to do your super and have your striker come in and wipe out the mobs. Unfortunately, if you pick pretty much most strikers, they won't do it. Like, they'll do it like that, and that is a complete waste of your time. You want them to be doing this as you activate your super. So the method that I'm going to talk about later is basically calling your striker, then doing your super. We'll talk about that more specifically there. But that's why most people use Vice 98 or clone Lady Zero. That's who they use, because they actually will activate and wipe out the mobs. Other strikers include Billy Kane, the festival Billy Kane, one with the plate of food, okonomiyaki, and also Fug John Cena as well, because they give a boost to your power gauge. So that's another way to do it. So we're going to look at some other ways that you can try and beat the time, but these are the problems so far. So, as I said, there's a very specific setup which most people are using, but you can find out that even when you do it correctly, stuff just doesn't go your way. So if we look at this example, right? You start up like this, boom, 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 run up to the top left, smack, and there's one guy, and that guy standing up there is just going to cost you a very valuable second. And this is just the kind of thing that happens. So don't worry about it. If that happens, just reset. It's just terrible, but just reset, start again. Now I think that's pretty much it for the problems. Let's move on to the actual solution. Okay, so let's move on to the solution. The idea is to have Yuri 98 as your leader. This is probably the most done leader skill, because she gives you a PG gain. The other character that can also give you a PG gain is Atena 99, but she only works on attack characters. So if you want to try and do that with Lady Zero, be my guest, but you'll find you might need a bit more of luck as well with that, because she needs to get those cats to hit exactly at the right time and knock out everyone. But let's move on to the traditional, usual routine. So you start off with Yuri, and then call her out and bring in Bob. And as you can see, Vice 98 as striker. Now, skill 2, I do to skill 2 straight away. Pretty much that's every time. You could try playing with something else if you want. And then the idea is to knock out the rest of the mobs. And you see that one on the right. That one should have been KO'd a long time ago, but of course, it's random, so sometimes they're moved out of the way, they're blocked, and some of them even roll just before you hit them. It's just like, wow, really? Okay. But the idea here is to get a full free bars of PG. You need that. If you don't have that, I would start again. Okay? You don't even need to run up to top left here. You don't need to run. You can just stay in the middle. It's absolutely fine. But the idea is now to execute the super. But first you press the striker button, then you do the super. Notice, forgot this part. Very important. If you do any of your special moves on a dead body, on a body, as you can see over there, there's a mob lying on the ground. If you do a special move on that mob is going to just burn. And they will not let in the next wave of mobs. And that is absolutely terrible. It messes up everything. So let that mob disappear first before you start unleashing. And the point is actually you want to unleash your super before the time starts ticking and before the next mobs come in. And the crucial point of this is to actually knock out 2 waves of mobs. That is the key. That is the special solution for this time trial. It's to wipe out 2 waves of mobs with 1 super. And the way to do that is by using the striker. Let's have a look. Probably going to mess up now. So you see there, they've all gone. Vice has knocked them all out. If your Vice is not knocking them all out, you need to level her up, put in some cores or something. Or it might be just actually you go to the cores and you unlock the line of the strikers where you see the striker skills. This will affect the amount of damage that she does. So in fact, you shouldn't, the CP of her should not matter. It should be just the striker levels. And you see it says striker skill 1, skill 2, skill 3. Or level 1, level 2, it increases the damage that she does, and it's the same for clone 0. And as you can see there, once the first wave has been dealt with, the next wave comes in and they all get burnt to a crisp. And that is how you've just saved maybe 10 seconds because they've knocked out. But of course, as you can see here, one managed to survive. Sometimes it happens. It's just like that. But that's the idea. That's the core thing about this time trial, and that's the main thing to do. I think I can do this with Clone Zero. Hang on. So here I'm going to do this with Karate and Clone Zero. And as you can see, mobs getting in the way. But there we've got one PG ready. And call her in and call up the super. Pum pum pum. And as you can see there, she didn't wipe them all out because she's not strong enough. And oops, to be honest, it's a bit flaky, some of it. But there you are. It's possible. And here's just to show you what happens when you use Atena. And I could actually probably start doing my super a bit earlier. Because normally when you do a super, the mobs will walk into it. The game is designed, in my opinion, for maximum entertainment. And therefore, the mobs want to walk into your super. You'll see this in the Hell Dungeon. You'll think, the CPU's like, yeah, everything's fine. You've done your super far away. I'll just stay back. No. The CPU, the mobs will walk into your super just so you can enjoy yourself. But in this case, they didn't, and they just want to mess up my video. But that's fine. But if you're using Lady Zero as well, I would advise probably... Well, you could try Vice. I didn't really try it. But Zero was just too tempting because Zero has a 9% PG gain boost. And I was like, oh, yeah, power. So you could try that. And then, like I said, you could do the super a bit earlier to save yourself off a second. Yeah, a bit of luck might be needed. And then you just like completely messed up and the cat missed and you're like, okay, let's just restart. Just restart. Forget it. Okay, let's take a look at this in action. Here we have 4 waves. And look, they're surviving. But if you can get a character that can knock them down, with one hit, you'll probably be okay. You can recover. Now, Vice is doing the job. Here comes the 3rd wave. And look, there's one still alive. Should probably just... Notice you can do cancels. And if you're lucky, mobs can walk into your super as well, like I said. And I'm just hesitating there whether to restart or not. But you know what? It's not too bad. Really, when you can knock out 2 waves in one go, that's it. And make sure your character can knock out this boss in one go, otherwise it's just pointless. There we go. Striker, call it in. Should we talk about part 2, shouldn't I? But that is basically part 1. Part 2, complete mess. Right, I'm gonna restart this. Talk about part 2. But just to show you, it's the same thing. Look, I've got 37, 38, 39, 39. Boom. And then he's transforming. You're like, oh my days. Look at the luck. And then magically it's still under 40 seconds. Oh yeah, that's a good thing I managed to show you this one actually, because that just shows that you still have a chance to recover. It's milliseconds, but it can be done. Right, now okay, so let's talk a bit more specifically about part 2. And sometimes stuff happens and random things happen, and somehow you find out that you don't have your striker with you. You're like, oh no, I've messed it all up. But there's an interesting part when part 2 starts. As you can see, the time is already ticking. But one thing that you can do, and I've actually done it quite late here, is as soon as you begin, you can actually set off your super, and they will fall into it. And you can do this with karate as well. See, the key thing is to start immediately. And he's doing nothing. Battle 2 comes up. And then they fall into it. But see, that one there is just not good enough. Yeah, so let's look at that again. A different one. It's a little bit of a pause. And then I start on Battle 2 when that turns up. And this one definitely hits. So you need a super with a very, very long animation. That's one wave done. And then you can, if you're lucky, wipe out the next. Oh, another thing actually to mention about karate. You notice that, of course, his animations are actually quite long. And with other characters that have long animations, you can cancel them with your block button. So if they're taking too long, and generally, you know, if you know that your character is knocking out this opponent with just one hit, cancel the move so that it finishes and the next mobs can come in. Because, you know, more time you spend, like I said before, if you keep juggling the opponents, it looks very cool, but it's wasting time. It's causing the time to deplete. Sometimes you have to be very desperate. And look, in this case, the mobs came into the super, so that can be very nice. And there you go. Cancel, cancel, cancel. 37, 38, 39, and that's it. No, it's over. It's too late. It's too late. Even if you hit the guy now, you're not getting a double S. And he's gone for the transformation to my final form. And this complete mess up. So like I said, sometimes you just need a bit of luck. Bit of luck. And you can squeeze out a few more seconds. So, yeah. Great. Okay, so thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Let's have a look at the final run where this hopefully all comes together, and hopefully I've got the right recording on. We could actually see a good actual time when everything works.
Ready, go!
So here's Yuri, bring in Bob, flame on, and there's one staying alive there. What a cheeky guy, but use the punch, and again cancel, call in striker, hit the super. It's simply button press, button press. That's it. You don't have to make any more. Third wave down. One more wave. Run to the side. This is really lucky because, yeah, it's just lucky. Right, but that's one thing you can do as well. I think skill freeze faster, so boom, boom. 16 seconds is a good target. Second wave. Or part 2 rather. And I don't even have anything ready. But the wave has been wiped. So waves 2 and 3 come in. And I completely don't know what I'm doing here. But one person... Whoa. And somehow I've got 29. What is going on? Bruv. There is a lot of luck in this run. That's all I can tell you. But if you want to try and emulate this one, go for it. Be my guest. There are of course, there are some other videos out on the net showing some really, really amazing speeds. I think Bangalom. I keep getting the name wrong. But this is the theory. That's it. That's the theory, okay? You could try using this particular technique. Let's go run through that one more time, right? So the first part, I didn't even get to knock them all out in one go. So sometimes you see you can recover, right? And again, used punch. You could punch cancel it to make it a little bit quicker, right? Then go for this. You don't have to worry about mobs behind you or in front of you. You just simply call in the striker. Nameless will set them all up nicely in front for Vice to wipe out. There they're gone. Next wave comes in. They get fried. And luck has it that none are surviving. Next one comes in. I run to the side. Suckers. And that's an amazing run there. Wipe out the boss. Run forward. I don't even have anything. I don't know what I'm doing. But I'm just going to go for it. Awakening does make you a bit stronger, but it doesn't guarantee anything apart from having more moves to fling out. So that's, yeah, it can be good. Then I use the 2 waving go, the last wave to do, and yeah, I don't know, kind of panicking here really, to be honest. And the next part is just pure luck. Voof. Because skill 3 goes through multiple mobs, so that's rather handy. And then the last one, again, just luck. He didn't transform, didn't do anything, and he got wiped out. There you are. So you now know the explanation for all the ways to get through this time trial, and hopefully that will help you out. So key things to remember: use Vice or Lady Clone Zero as strikers to wipe out two waves of mobs in one. That's very, very important. You may want to do that for the the middle wave or the last of the third wave, so you can get the third and fourth in one go. That's up to you. I don't know, it might be an amazing way to do that even better. Use your skills. Don't forget, when you're using your skills, if you do a super afterwards, that time will regenerate your skills. So you can think about another, schedule, plan out your moves, see which are, what's the best configuration, the best schedule for you to do your moves. The next thing, of course, is your leadership. Of course, Yuri 98 or Athena 99, but of course, you have to change your characters. Strikers, you've got, like I said, Vice or Clone Zero, but also you could also use Thug John Cena or Billy Kane, Festival Billy Kane, to give yourself power gain. And again, think about the power gain planning, and think about how you're going to regenerate your moves and wipe out the mobs all over the place. Of course, when it comes to the bosses, you may be lucky. You need a move that can wipe them out in one go. And when you get to Mecha Gainitz, he may transform, he may not, but good luck with that. I do definitely recommend Bob. Level up Bob. As soon as he can wipe out everyone in one move, you're good to go. So good luck with that. If you have any other questions, hopefully you can all discuss it in the comments below. I hope this has been of some help, and we'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching.